So I did my informative briefing today on Sean Taylor, a player who will never be replaced. The things that I hope to inform you of today include Taylor's surreal talent on the field, as well as his knack for getting in trouble off of it, his career and life turnaround that took place in 2007, his death and how it happened and why it happened and how it was reacted to. His legacy as both a player and a person and how he's able to impact so many, and why his story matters to you and the ways in which it can be related to. So Taylor's early years, he was drafted 5th overall in the 2004 NFL Draft by the Redskins, and he took over the starting safety spot just 3 games into his rookie season, showing why he was drafted so high. Honestly, there's really no understating how phenomenal of a player Taylor was. In fact, an NFL Films documentary on his life, his coach Joe Gibbs said, "God made certain people to play football, and Sean was one of them." And that really just describes his prowess on the field and how gifted he was. Unfortunately, he also made a name for himself away from the field. From 2004 to 2006, Taylor was fined numerous times for illegal hits, dress code violations, ejected from a playoff game for spitting on the face of an opponent, and arrested twice. So as you can see, his first few years were rocky, had a lot of highs and lows. He developed a reputation as an incredibly skilled player who was also immature. 2007, though, was the year where it all came together for him. He began taking both his job and his life more seriously, and many credit the birth of his daughter Jackie as the reason why. As a player, he began tapping into that endless potential everybody who watched him knew he had. To put it simply, in 2007, he just was playing out of his mind. He led the league in interceptions at the time of a knee injury that he suffered in Week 10. And no one knew it then, of course, but that Week 10 game in 2007 would be his last game ever. So Taylor was sent home by the team to rehab his knee injury and be with his family for a couple of weeks. And that is when on November 26th, a group of burglars broke into his home, not knowing he was there. So when he ran to protect his family, one of the intruders panicked and shot him. He bled out in the house profusely and was rushed to the hospital, where it looked like things were kind of heading upwards and he'd be okay. But the next day he died and was just 24 years old. And the trial just recently wrapped up for the killers. It took a long time and was very controversial. So the reaction to his death was kind of interesting, to say the least. While his family and fans were left grieving, some people took the chance to kind of launch an attack on Taylor. In a Washington Post article, Michael Wilbon wrote that he wasn't surprised in the least when he heard the news, citing Sean's off-the-field issues as reasons why people shouldn't really be surprised that it happened. And on ESPN, the radio, Colin Cowherd said he never bought the narrative of Taylor turning his life around. He said, "When you clean a rug, there's still stains underneath," kind of meaning that he didn't really buy into the whole idea of Taylor becoming a better person. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have this quote from a Newsweek article I read, where the author basically argued that Sean's death was yet another instance of a young black man dying, and everyone assuming had to do with gang violence, or he kind of deserved it in a way. So needless to say, his death sparked a lot of debate amongst the sports world and society as a whole. But while a lot of people said some negative things about him, Redskins fans, NFL fans, his teammates, and his coaches will never really have a negative thing to say about Sean. If you go to a game at FedEx Field today, you'll still see that his number 21 jersey is one of the most popular amongst fans. Furthermore, I've read countless interviews and seen countless features on him where his teammates, coaches still talk about him with the utmost of respect. You can tell that they truly miss him, and it still hurts them to this day, even 8 years later. Sure, people will question how you can be saddened by the death of someone you didn't know, but I or thousands of other Redskins fans really won't, because while we never knew Sean, he was somebody who impacted us greatly, and he'll always hold a special place in our hearts. And lastly, to wrap up, I would like to look at the ways in which everyone can relate to his story. First of all, everyone has someone in their life who's taken too soon, kind of like Sean was. Death is the hardest thing to deal with in life, especially unexpected tragedies like this. So we've all been there before, and we all know how difficult it is to go through. Secondly, it proves the importance of giving people a second chance or staying with someone through the tough times. His road to superstardom was anything but smooth. Had a lot of bumps, but the team and his fans and his family stuck with him through it all. And before he was killed, he was beginning to reward them for that faith. And finally, it shows the importance of not really caring what people outside of those who truly know you think. The people who loved him and knew him didn't really care what the critics said. They knew the true story. So it just reminds us to not really care about what outside people think and only worry about what those close to you think of you. And here's just some pictures from the aftermath. And that is the end of my presentation.